I wasn't looking for a bug or anything, I just found it online, and it was in someone's backyard with all the weeds and stuff growing through it. It was all purple, and I just thought, somebody needs to rescue that thing, you know? I just felt bad for it and thought I should take it. I got it and it didn't look terrible, like it didn't look like it was in really rough shape, but it had 14 coats of paint on it, had purple, and then I stripped that off and it had like this splatter paint from the 80s, and I had to strip that off, and eventually I just ended up going all the way down to bare sheet metal and totally took it off the pan, and it ended up being a bigger project than what I first anticipated, but in order to do it right, I had to like completely take it apart and start over. Mostly it's about stories, right? Like you stop at the gas station or at the car show or whatever, and everyone has a story, and they want to tell you their bug story. It's an emotional vehicle for sure. You know? Normally on a Volkswagen you have like a 5-inch gauge right here, and then on these older ones, this area of the dash is a vent. And then people would cut out here and put in a stereo later, but this is a 56, and it didn't come with a stereo at all. It was a 2-year project. I remember when I dropped the motor out, the bug motors are light, and I didn't have anything to put it on. I had to lift the car up and drop it out of the bottom, and so I put it on my skateboard to like I set the motor down on my skateboard and then rolled it out. And you know, you just kind of figure it out as you go. The standard bug gauge is a 5-inch gauge that just basically is speed and fuel. I needed to know oil temperature and oil pressure and all of those kinds of things. And so I decided I would go with those Speedhut legacy gauges that are just a cleaner look. So I modified my whole dash to make it just smooth and clean, and just put in 2 gauges instead of having to clutter the dash with 8 different gauges to capture everything I wanted to do. So these old cars are so cool. They're just so simple. As I was going through it, I was noticing like they did everything they could to simplify it, They just like figured out the simplest solution for everything, and I like totally respect that. I thought it was super cool. This one's a little more rare. I think the year that this one is they only imported like 3,400 cars that year. And then by the time, mid-60s, they're importing over 1 million a year. As they got more and more popular. So there's not very many of these, which is the other reason I felt like I had to rescue it, get it out of the field and get it back on the road. As I peeled back all the layers of the onion and discovered like everything that was wrong, and basically I had to start from scratch, and new pans and new everything, and it ended up being a much bigger project than I first hoped it would be, but I'm much happier with the results than I thought it would be. So now it's brand new, all brand new interior, motor, paint, everything. So runs awesome and looks great, and I'm like more stoked on it than I ever thought I could be. So.